For many people, isolation isn't just a season, it's a struggle that can leave us questioning our purpose and place in the world. Former Bachelor star Ben Higgins knows that feeling well. In his new book, he shares how stepping out of loneliness led him to a deeper sense of community, faith, and identity.
He first captured America's attention on The Bachelor. Now, through his generous coffee, he's turning profits into purpose. He's also one of the voices behind the podcast, Almost Famous. In his book, Alone in Plain Sight, Ben reveals how public success hid private struggles with identity and isolation. Now, as a husband and new dad, he shares why life transitions magnify our need for authentic connection. At a time when half of U.S. adults report loneliness, his story offers a hopeful path forward. From roses to real impact, Ben Higgins invites you to discover who you truly are.
And Ben is with us now. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
We saw some pictures. Talk about your wife and beautiful daughter.
How much time do we have?
Well, as much as you need, I guess.
It's the coolest thing ever. I have just the best wife, and I've prayed and hoped, and obviously went on television hoping to find love, and then I meet somebody, and it's made life so much better. And then now we have Winona, who's about to turn 9 months old, and she is a joy to just every moment of the day.
Gosh.
Yeah,
she
it's funny, I was telling a buddy yesterday, I spend so much time just laughing and watching her. That time passes like so fast yet so slow, because everybody says savor the moments.
Yes.
It's hard to do because she's growing, but every moment with her is just the best thing. I can't tell people enough how amazing being a father has been.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just for people who don't know your story, Jessica, your wife, you did not meet on the reality show, but we're going to get into that. Just wanted to let people know. So it's interesting, you know, you're very vulnerable in this book. Seasons of loneliness and not feeling seen. Started as a child, right?
Yeah. So I'm an only child, and I have two incredible parents. But I've always, I think, just based on being an only child and being a part of even like the sports world and being a part of teams and my teammates going home to their siblings or, getting bullied by their siblings and just getting to have that family dynamic. I think I always was around adults. And so I always kind of felt like the outsider. So it happened as a child, and it really increased over time. I found myself on television still feeling that way, you know.
How did you get, I mean, for someone who felt that way, that's a big, bold risk to step into trying to get into reality programming. Did someone convince you to do that?
Yeah, you know, I had moved to Denver for my first job. I had no friends in Denver. I'm from Indiana originally. And so I found myself kind of creating the narrative again, where I moved to a city where I knew nobody. I had no friends. I was working this job that I didn't necessarily love. And again, I felt like an outsider. And one of the people I was working with said, hey, how about you go on this show to try to date somebody, to try to make friends? And so I did, not knowing that it would one day lead to me being the Bachelor. I kind of went into it to create a new story, to mix life up a bit. To do something I thought others would think was cool, to kind of prove myself to them. And then, you know, now 10 years later, it's still such a part of my story. But yet I still found myself feeling like the outsider, feeling alone, feeling disconnected, and at times more than ever during my time as the lead.
A key part of your book, Alone in Plain Sight, is when, this was fascinating to me, a producer, I believe, on the show during production said to you, I don't like you. What did he mean, and what did that do? Did you change something after that?
Yeah, so, you know, for 3 weeks of the show, I was very much kind of standing against the wall, staying quiet, just letting people do what they were going to do and just watching. And then at week 4, he called me into an interview. It was just he and I sitting in the interview room, and we talked. And he at one point said, Ben, I don't like you. Which, like, for somebody that feels like an outsider, like, hits deep. And I've never had anybody say that to me, like, to my face. It's actually kind of refreshing. But he said, I don't like you because I don't know you. You don't let me or anybody else get to know you. You say the right thing at the right moment, and you stay quiet when it's necessary. I don't know who you are. And for the first time in my life, in that moment, I admitted to him that yes, I felt unlovable, that the more people got to know me, the less they would like me. And so as a result, for at that point, 25 years of my life, I was not letting people get to know me. And I was just kind of being a chameleon and fitting in on how I knew how, when the moment was best.
Am I correct that it led you to sharing and being vulnerable on the show? And talk about what the audience response was.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of what the show does. Good or bad or indifferent, I went out and was on the date, and I said, you know, I admitted, hey, I feel unlovable. I feel unlikable. And I say this, and the date moves on. 3 months later, you know, the show airs. And I'm so nervous. I remember the night that I knew that episode was going to air, and I didn't know if they were actually going to air it or not. I was anxious. I was nervous. I was sitting on the couch, and it airs, and I was sad until about an hour later. And I got on my social media, and there's some good to social media, definitely some bad, which I talk about in the book. And I had thousands of messages from people saying, I feel this way also. I feel disconnected. I feel lonely. I feel like the more people get to know me, the less they would like me. You know, I think it helped me relate with an audience, but I didn't know that was going to be the case. I thought my own insecurity was actually the thing that isolated me. But in fact, I think it was the thing that connected me to the most people.
Now, coming out of The Bachelor, though, you hit a lonelier season, right? Because there was all this fame and you were engaged,
yes,
right? But then
2 years.
Didn't work out. Where were you at that point, spiritually and in your heart?
You know, you run a fast race. You're on red carpets, and you're doing all these things that as a kid you think would be the coolest thing ever, and that your friends would think you're the coolest person ever. But unfortunately for me, I was doing it all alone. And the more and more I did it, the less and less I felt like I knew myself. Again, I was trying to adapt. I was trying to wear fancier clothes and take better pictures and hang out with the coolest people. And I called a friend one day, and I was telling him about this dinner party I had the night before. And it was with a bunch of really impressive people who we would know if I mentioned their names. And he goes, "That's great, man. What do you think about the game last night?" I was like, "No, like, did you hear what I said? Like, I'm really cool now." He said, "Ben, this has never been meant to be about you. This has always been meant to be about something greater than you. What if you use the platform that you've been handed to do something far above yourself?" And at that moment, a weight was actually lifted because I was trying to stay relevant at the time. Again, I was trying to fit in at the time. And when I started thinking about others and not myself, that whole experience of kind of having this fleeting fame became a lot more fun, a lot easier to handle, and a lot less stressful. So that was kind of my second pivot moment, awakening moment, to say, hey, I've always loved thinking about others. I've always loved being a part of nonprofits. I've always loved working for things that I think are making the world a better place. And let me try to go back to that.
Interesting how you said I was trying to stay relevant. So you're not being yourself, you're trying to operate into being something else. So how did you begin to evolve and break out of isolation and loneliness? It's a process.
It's a long process. I think there's some key factors that I talk about in the book. Obviously, you showed the statistics. For the last 10 years, when studies are done, the statistics of loneliness have gone up and up and up. And I think they will go up and up unless we do something about it. For me, it was close friendships. Having a few friends around me that really know me, know who I am, that can support me, can cry with me when crying is necessary, and also celebrate me when celebration is necessary. So get those friends around me. Also to start thinking about others. I think one of the key things that I think our calling from Jesus comes from is to think about others. And I think that's a differentiator when it comes to the world around us, is we actually feel more connected. We find more joy, more purpose when we're not just consumed by our own selves, but when we start thinking about what do others need around us. Those things have really helped me not only get connected, but have a community of people that I know love me, that I know will speak truth into me and help me continue forward.
What a shift. Instead of how can I stay in the public eye, to I'm thinking of others. One thing that makes your book unique, Alone in Plain Sight, from the Christian community, I think, is you talk about the crisis of faith, and there's been a few of those along the way. You're honest about, sometimes I have doubts, I've had doubts, but you said, you try and pursue the truth in those moments. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's everybody's genuine, story is they want to believe in truth. We want to claim truth and we want to follow truth. And so for me as somebody that has always, I think one of my superpowers is curiosity, has always been one that questions, that asks. The beauty in that along the way is that Jesus has never left. Jesus continues to stay there. And the more and more curious I become in human story, in history, Jesus stays constant. And so for me, it's asking the questions. It's
wrestling with
the questions. And that's why I write about it in the book, because I know there's people doing it out there, maybe not talking about it. And I want to be maybe somebody for somebody else to open the door and say, it's okay. Like there's others doing this also. And there's others not only on the other side, but maybe still in it. But it's okay. And that's really what the book is. I hope every reader closes it and just realizes they're not alone. That whatever struggle they're going through, they just realize they're not alone. And I think that's an important message today.
After being on The Bachelor, I mean, now your marriage with Jessica and a daughter, God's done a real wonderful work in your life, hasn't he?
The most amazing work. I was praying last night, and right now my prayers are just of gratitude and blessing and saying thank you. To continuing, when I'm sitting beside the two of them, I'm reminded that through all the weird things I've done, from The Bachelor to The Bachelorette to trying to figure out life, somehow I end up with this amazing family that I'm so grateful for.
Last question. For those watching who are isolated, they're alone, they feel empty maybe, what small steps can they begin to take to move forward?
Yeah, I think community is very important. So in short, I think sitting around the table, breaking bread together is a great, just small activity, a small first step. But looking around you at your community that surrounds you and saying, where can I help? And just get started that way. Just where can I help?
That's a unique suggestion.
Yeah.
It's not about us all the time.
No, I think it's the best way to meet people that care about the same thing and that have the same spirit of service.
Awesome. Ben, appreciate the book and you being here.
Thank you.
Love hearing about your family, too.
I appreciate it.
His new book, Alone in Plain Sight, Searching for Connection When You're Seen But Not Known. It's an expanded edition. It's a re-release. It's available wherever books are sold. You can also follow Ben on Instagram. Encourage you to check it out. Great stuff, Ben. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Andrew.